Hello, and welcome back to another episode of What is Syris reading this week? This episode's a little forward in schedule. Originally, this was going to be 2 weeks combined, but I had a slight schedule change, so here I am. Now, from now on, it'll be 2 weeks. I know I've said that before, but this time it's true. I wasn't able to film/upload yesterday because of school, and I stayed out a little later doing other stuff, but now here we are. So, welcome to What is Syris reading this week. I think this is either week 9, 10, or 11. I am kind of losing track, so don't mind me. Also, stick around if you want a review of the Morbius figure, as you can see here, from Marvel Legends. I'll probably grab a figure from my shelf and put it here so you can kind of see throughout the video, review it at the end. So if you like it, you can pick it up. But besides that, let's get into it. First up, we got Daredevil Volume 4, End of Hell. Now, this is the Zdarsky run, and this is one of the best Daredevil runs ever. Right behind Back in Black and, the Mark Waid run. That one's really good. So if you've read the first three, you know that the Owl's been set up as this major villain because Kingpin stepped down as the Kingpin of crime, and the Owl's here now. Well, this kind of brings an end to the big Owl arc while starting the next arc that was essentially kind of maybe started in the last one, but this is the end of the Owl and the real start of the next arc of the series. And at the end, if you know what's going on with Daredevil right now, the end won't be that surprising to you. So this one's really good. There's a scene a little later on where it's like a whole siege on the city, and there's like Rhino there, some obscure Daredevil villains, Bullseye's there, and this is a really fun book. If you know about the last one, you know all the Daredevils that were there, all the different people that were pretending to be Daredevil to protect his, well, not his identity, but protect his legacy while he was kind of taking a break. So this is also like the end of that part as well. This is really good. Pick up the whole Zdarsky run. I mean, why not? It's really great, the whole thing. I give this a solid 9.5 out of 10. Pick these up if you see them. All right, next up we got Batman Beyond Rebirth Volume 3, The Long Payback. So if you can't tell by the title, the main villain here is Payback, who was a child that his father essentially ignored him or whatever, and he turned into a vigilante. You learned what happened to him, how his life progressed, and about Payback in this. So even if you don't recognize him from the animated series or previous comics, wherever he was from, you learn about him in here, so you don't really need to read those or watch those. Batman Beyond was the first DC book I ever read, Volume 1, Escaping the Grave, and I really enjoyed it. I read it in 20 minutes. So I've been reading all of Batman Beyond, and I find this series really great. So if you like the classic animated show, you're gonna like these. It still has the same characters, a few plot points Volume 5, the Joker's return, the Joker from main continuity that everyone knows. That one has his little brother becoming Robin, which is really fun and a cool thing. So if you like Batman Beyond, then pick these up. Even if you don't, you may as well try it. Pick it up at the library. Even if you don't want to buy the whole trade, just go to the library and pick one up. See if you like it. That's what these are, library. This is a solid 8 out of 10. All right, next up we got Runaways and Young Avengers Civil War. So this takes place about a week after Gert's death. So it's not the events of Live Fast yet, where Chase tried to essentially give up his life to bring Gert back. That hasn't happened yet. It's right before that. So this is essentially a team up of the Runaways and the Young Avengers. Well, I mean, let me bring this a little closer. It's the Runaways, Young Avengers. So you got people like Young Vision, Kate Bishop. Actually, I can just read who's on the teams. So right now on Runaways, we got Nico, Chase, Molly, Victor, Caroline, Xavier, and Old Lace. Then on Young Avengers, we got Patriot, Wiccan, Hulkling, Hawkeye, Stature, Speed, and Vision. This is Vision from Iron Lad's suit, which is a big plot point, blah, blah. And so it's a 4-issue miniseries, and it reintroduces one of the classic characters from when Marvel was kind of getting back to its golden era after Civil War, aka Marvel Boy, or before Civil War, Marvel Boy, who is a Kree, like the original Captain Marvel. So it kind of shows what happened to him and how he's going on right now. Then after the main story, which is only about 4 issues, then you got character pages, like the classic Marvel encyclopedias, telling you all the characters and what they do. So this is a really great book. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Runaways, never really read Young Avengers. I hope to read it someday. It seems fun. So I give this a solid 7 out of 10. All right, next we got Miles Morales Ultimate End. This is a digest size, so it's 2 trades, and these are intended for, middle school kids because they've got characters like Miss Marvel, Miles, Spider-Gwen, Hawkeye. Essentially, they're next generation characters. So this was Bendis' run after so he wrote Ultimate Spider-Man, and if you don't know, Peter Parker dies at the end of that. Spoilers, slight spoilers. Well, I mean, it's called Death of Ultimate Spider-Man at the end. I mean, you kind of figure that out. So this was the run after it, after Ultimate Fallout. So Miles essentially has nothing to do with Peter Parker at all. He's just a random character that they didn't even know. Well, he took up the mantle of Spider-Man, he got bit by a spider, and this is his story. There's been 3 of these before that, 3 of these before this. There's been Miles Morales Spider-Man, Miles Morales with great power, and Miles Morales great responsibility. If you can find those, pick those up as well. This one deals with, it's a cliffhanger at the end of the first issue, because there's 12 issues in here. The first one ends with what seems like the original Peter Parker from this universe coming back from the dead. And then he also has to fight Ultimate Green Goblin. He has to deal with Hydra. And this is a really great series. Even if you haven't read the first 3 volumes of this, pick this one up. It's fun to read. Really enjoyed this. This one's a solid 9 out of 10. Pick these up. Miles is a really great character. You'll enjoy him. Next up, we got Superman Black Dawn. So this is part of the Superman Rebirth, where he has Jonathan Kent and he's married to Lois Lane. I don't remember if at this point he has his identity revealed. He might. So the Black Dawn is this thing right here. It's a character you may know. He's kind of lesser known. I talked to a few people that know about comics. They didn't really remember this character. He's kind of a twist villain at the later on. Well, if you've read like volume 7 of Bizarroverse, you know about John's friend and what she is. So this one mainly deals with the town that they're living in. It's not Smallsville, it's a different town. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. And the civilians seem to be like distant to John, Clark, Lois. You find out they know that they're Superman and the family. That's like issue 2 in here. So you learn more about the people and what they're from and what's happened to them. And it's a mystery, essentially. This whole thing's a mystery, and it's really fun to slightly unravel. So this is a solid, 9 out of 10. This whole series is good. Pick these up. Speaking of, next we got Imperious Lex. Now this is volume 6 of this, so right before Bizarroverse. And this contains essentially 3 different stories. The first one is where Apocalypse is being fought between like Steppenwolf, Granny Goodness, and a few other people. And the prophecy says a great protector will come, and it's Superman, obviously. I mean, it's his book, essentially. So he's liberating Apocalypse in one of the stories. Then the next one is... Next one's this one where Superman helps kids with cancer and they like go to the moon. It's a cute short story. It's only about an issue long. And the final one is there's a planet out there that's going to explode like Krypton. So John and Clark are trying to stop it. But the people don't want their planet to not explode. They want to die with the explosion. So they have to deal with that. This is really good. The first story is a little meh. The whole Imperious Lex thing, I mean, never really was a fan of Apocalypse and Darkseid and all. So if you like that stuff, you might want to pick this up. Besides that, the other stories are way better. So if you just want to read about like planets and Superman being a cool dude at some points, skip the first part and just pick up the single issues 39, 40, 41. Besides that, this one's a solid 7 out of 10. I liked this later stories, not the first one. All right. Last up is America, Volume 2, Fast and Furotona. I don't know how to pronounce the second word. You may be asking, but you hated the first one. Why? And to that I say, I feel like it's a responsibility of mine to finish series that I've started. So like, I'm going to finish that Superman series. I'm going to finish the Daredevil by Zdarsky series. So for this, I will finish America for you guys, the viewers. Ugh. So you know I didn't like the first America because, sure, representation, great. Completely agree with representation. Absolutely, cool. But when you're constantly showing it, don't make the character, their whole personality, the representation. Make the character there have a personality, and then maybe add some representation a little later on. Don't make it their whole personality. And what they did with America Chavez in here is they made it her whole personality. So it wasn't great at all. The first volume was such a drag to read. I wanted to just sleep halfway through it. This one's a little better. I mean, a little like this much. You got the first part being Exterminatrix, who's this person, if you don't know, daughter of Midas, King Midas, but he's not a king, he just makes things. They have gold bullets. He dies in Marvel Boy. She was originally a Marvel Boy villain, but yeah. So she meets with her grandma like she does at the end of the first volume, and she learns about her planet and its history and what happened to her mom, which both of her moms died. So you learn about her backstory essentially and the backstory of her planet, which is kind of cool. So there's the Exterminatrix arc, which might I bring up, there was this part where Exterminatrix shoots a gold bullet and she catches it. America Chavez catches the bullet, which no, because if Thor got hurt by a bullet, if it went through Thor's skin, Asgardian skin, and it went through it, no, America Chavez is gonna get her whole hand blasted through. She's not gonna catch that bullet like it's nothing. So final story is she goes back to her home planet. Well, her home planet was destroyed, but she goes back to the second home planet that she has that her other mom's from, and her grandma to kind of like learn. She meets her essentially like kind of step sister-ish thing that the grandma's adopted. People that attack the planet attack. They make peaceful treaties, and that's about the whole story. This, I mean, I prefer it over the original one. I give it like a 4, maybe 3.5 out of 10. I don't know. This one's just not too great in general. All right, so that's all. So if you don't care about Morbius here, then you're free to go. Besides that, here's Morbius. So he is from the Venom Pool wave. As you can see, I've posed him so he has his hand up, kind of, like Dr. Doomish. His cape's really cool. You got it's like stained and destroyed. It's ripped. That's about all. He doesn't come with any accessories. The Venom Pool, of course, had like Miles, Gwenom, Phage, Carnage, and then Morbius, which doesn't really fit into the symbiotes in general. But if you like Morbius, this is probably a cool figure for you. I was mostly collecting it to get Venom Pool. I like his sculpt though. I really like the cape, which apparently just pops right off. So if you just like the bodysuit, you can have that, but I prefer to have the cape on. Besides that, I mean, he's okay, not my favorite. Cape's really hard to get on, so be careful if you do decide to get it off. Not my favorite, not the worst, so I mean, like, solid 5. Maybe pick it up if you see it, if you're a fan of Morbius. Besides that, get like Carnage. He's really cool. He's got the Absolute Carnage head sculpt and the normal one, so you can have Venus Absolute Carnage mode or normal Carnage. Yeah. So that's all I have for this week. I'll probably see you in 2 weeks unless my schedule changes again. Besides that, have a good rest of your weeks. I'll see you later. Bye.